So building off that kind of provocative claim that we just finished that last video with, that again, what pornography does is that it eroticizes hierarchy and it sexualizes inequality. McKinnon goes on to say that from this perspective, pornography is neither a harmless fantasy nor a corrupt or confused misrepresentation of an otherwise natural and healthy sexual situation. It institutionalizes the sexuality of male supremacy, fusing the eroticization and dominance and submission and the social construction of male and female. To the extent that gender is sexual, pornography is part of constituting the meaning of that sexuality. Men treat women as who they see women as being. Pornography constructs who that is. Men's power over women means that the way men see women define who women can be. Pornography is that way. Okay? And then she makes the further critique here that others make kind of similarly, that pornography treats women as objects, right? Pornography participates in its audience eroticism through creating an accessible sexual object, the possession and consumption of which is male sexuality, is socially constructed to be consumed and possessed, as which female is female sexuality, and pornography is the process that constructs that. Okay. And then again, this paragraph right before section 2, I think that she does offer another kind of like provocative kind of thing to consider, provocative insight to consider here about pornography, is that, thinking that pornography defines women by how we look according to how we can be sexually used. Again, this idea of like, what are things that you use objects. Therefore, women get kind of lumped into this idea of being an object to be used. However, the one using the object wants. Pornography demonstrates this, right? And that's so problematic. Pornography codes how to look at women so you know what you can do with one when you see one. Gender is an assignment made visually, both originally and everyday life. A sex object is defined on the basis of its looks in terms of usability for sexual pleasure. This is what the feminist concept of sex object means. In this sense, sex in life is no less mediated than it is in art. One could say that kind of in real life, in one's own private bedrooms with their own kind of partners, engaging in sexual activity, if one has consumed pornography, if one actively consumes pornography, one could make the claim, one could make the again, kind of provocative claim that when a male has sex in real life with a female, in whatever the relational dynamic might be, dating, partner, married, etc., if one actively consumes a lot of pornography, either in the past, present, or will continue to consume pornography in the future, one could argue that because of one's participation with pornography, and one has all of these different kind of like images of what woman is, it could be argued that one could say men have sex with the image of a woman. It's not that life and art imitate each other. In this sexuality, they are each other. Which again, I think is a very provocative claim. But it also deserves attention. It deserves kind of focus on this way of thinking, right? This way of kind of considering the fact that, again, if one views a lot of pornography, kind of the attitudinal changes that causes, right? And there's always kind of the discussion like, well, pornography's fantasy and that's not real life. But like, how good are we at really separating fantasy and real life? And could it very well be the case that depending on the amount of consumption of pornography, that really does affect how one and what one brings to the actual kind of experience in kind of real life, right? And the dangers within that, okay? All right. There's one other kind of section that I want to dive into, and that'll be the next video, and then we will finish up.